Why are you being a horse's ass? Come here and hang out with me. Awesome. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. What you doing? I was just kidding about that horse's butt thing, right?
The party just beginning and it's all for you and me. You work so hard for what you want is where you want to be. You've had your fun and now you're done, so everyone goes home. So what are you doing? There's nothing to do. Wild is where we go.
Hey there. Today we're just doing normal work stuff. Get into the enclosures, take a walk around, just make sure everything's cool. And it's just routine. It's better to be in practice of constantly inspecting everything than to finally get around to it and find out that something needs some attention. We're in the Nile crocodile enclosure. Before I hop off the dock and walk around the enclosure, I'd like to, get eyes on all four, make sure I know where all the animals are. It's just a safe practice. So we got two right here in front of us, plain as day. There is one on the far bank over that way. And then number 4 is more than likely in the pool. It's better to have eyes on 3 than none. We're just gonna be taking a walk around, check things out, and I talk about training all the time. Once you bridge that communication gap, it's going to lower the stress levels of the animals. It changes the way they look at you, hopefully for the better, not for the worse. Also, it creates that safer work environment. So I got a pretty big Nile crocodile hanging out there right behind me. And those are the ones that you see on TV, going after the wildebeest and the wildebeest and like water buffalo, that type of thing in Africa. I believe the stats say that Nile crocs are responsible for more human deaths per year than any other crocodile species. On TV, that kind of demonizes them a little bit. If you think about the way Nile crocodiles exist in the wild, it makes a lot more sense why they occasionally go after people. There's a lot of people that live right along the river, the same habitat, same area as the crocodiles. So they have to coexist. Now, statistically, the amount of people that are out there versus the amount of people that actually get eaten by crocodiles is pretty low, considering when you're up against the fact that Nile crocs go after big, huge, giant, potentially dangerous animals. Make no mistake, a water buffalo kicks a crocodile on the head one time, they'll crack it right open and kill the crocodile. If you have to hunt for your own food, what do you want to do? Do you want to risk your own life to get it, or do you want to pick a food option that is going to put up little or no fight? You're not going to have to work very hard for it, and it's mostly all benefit. I don't know about you, but if I had those options, I would definitely go with the low risk, all benefit option, which, if you think about it, people are relatively clumsy. We don't really pay attention a whole heck of a lot. A lot of the time, if you sneeze and fart at the same time, you might actually pass out. Not exactly threatening towards a predatory animal. We're basically a dollar menu item for a lot of apex predators. Big 10-foot male could be sitting right there, and that would be a perfect launch out point for him to shoot up and take a shot at me or go after a raccoon. The way we design the enclosures, they're these huge kind of natural habitats and their own ecosystems. So we like that the birds and other animals can come in and out. The only thing we want to do is keep the crocodiles in. So that's what they're designed to do. So if a raccoon gets in here, or a possum, or anything else, it's fair game to the crocs. So nothing wrong with that. So here's the other 2 crocs that we didn't quite see as we came in. I'll turn this around. There you go, a couple big ones. This is me milking the clock and shift dodging. Sometimes I just like to come in and hang out with my crocodiles. Let them get used to having me around, loafing around on their couch. And I don't bug them. I just let them do what they're doing. Try and stay out of trouble. Here they are. Beautiful Nile crocodiles. But I still have to do my job. Like anything man-made, it has a expiration date on it, you know, so if you build something out of wood or metal or whatever, you know, it's going to be subject to the elements. So, you know, metal's not going to last forever, you know, nice good handful of years if you maintain it properly. Same thing with the wood, but there's only so much you can do to make it last long periods of time. So we're always ready to repair and replace anything at will. Plus, you know, you can have trees fall down. You try to be as preemptive as possible, keep those things from happening. What you doing, buddy? He's checking me out big time, that big guy right there. He might yell at us. They're coming over here. What you doing? You just hanging out? All right. Anticlimactic. Crawl under this part. Big tree. I like how it hangs over the... Here we're back at the dock. We got that other crocodile there. You are pretty. What, 10 minutes of how I spend my day? So I got a bunch more enclosures to go. More routine stuff. I always have fun in here because there's different landscape in every enclosure that we have. Different plants, different animals. There's one of the Crocs over there. We got a couple of big crocodiles. Whoa, there she goes. She doesn't want to hang out with us today. And there's another crocodile way across the pond over there. These are the West African crocodiles, a somewhat newly recognized and named species within the past, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, split off from the Nile crocodile. With genetics and DNA testing, it's now very clear that this is a completely different species. The scientific name is Crocodilus sucus. Some people say suchus, and if that's the proper pronunciation, well, I'm not saying it because I think that sounds stupid. So I'm gonna say sucus because it sounds cooler. Suchus the crocodile. The West African crocodile is pretty cool. It doesn't get quite as big as what everybody recognizes as the Nile crocodile. Those things can average, shoot, the male's like 15, 16 feet, possibly bigger. This species, the males are gonna top out somewhere in the 10 foot, maybe a little over 10 feet long range for the most part. The attitude and the appearance of them, honestly, is just completely different. But anyway, so that's the main pond right there. And right on the back side of the pond, so we got this little berm kind of land area. But on this side of the enclosure, there is an area that we call the sloughs. It's shallower, kind of marshy spots. Like, it's hard to see on here, but where the stick is pointing back there, that little area, there's like a whole kind of trough about knee deep over there. So it's really misleading. I found out that it's knee deep because I was walking back there and went bloop. Well, shoot, that's deeper than I thought it was. Sometimes the animals will lurk way down in here. So I have to be really careful while I'm walking around, because not only do I have to worry about something maybe shooting up out of the pond, but also on this side too. So they definitely have a lot of variation to their enclosure and habitats to hang out in. So if they're hanging out back in here, you know, then yeah, maybe the guests don't get to see them as much. But luckily for us, they do spend a lot of time up in the front areas of the enclosure. Ultimately, I mean, my biggest concern isn't can the guests see stuff. We want the guests to see things, but it's not a dog and pony show here. If the guests get to see them, great. If they don't get to see them, then oh well. My biggest focus and goal is to cater to the animals, not to the humans. Although our guest interaction is just phenomenal and we do the best we can possibly do to have a fun, engaging environment for our guests as well. But you know, I mean, it's for the animals. It's about the animals, not about the people. So yeah, I just figured I'd take you along for some of the daily routine. Oh, you know what? I want to talk about this too. You're gonna see me carrying around a stick a lot of the time. I use some of the bamboo that we have growing here on the property, make these little, you know, broomstick size little sticks. Let's do a little bit of edumacation for you. It's professional terminology. We call it a croc stick, but a lot of people mistake the purpose of having a stick. It's not a whacky-mole type of thing. It's not for smacking the crocodiles. We're not doing, you know, Shaolin Kung Fu on the animals. At least I'm not. And the stick is an extension of your hands. So if I'm approaching an animal and we need to move the animal out of the way or shuffle them off to a different area so that we can get to where we need to go or focus on what we need to focus on, it's safer to use this than it is to use your hand. So if I have to physically touch an animal, like, hey, scooch off, and it's not smacking them, get out of here. Just a nice little, you know, bump to the tail or something like that. Hey, get going. You know, you can use this. Likewise, if they are charging or something were to go wrong, instead of using your hand to try and stop them, this gives you a little bit more distance, a little bit more ability to keep some distance between you and the animal. So, you know, I can stick this out and they run into the stick. Also, I like to think of this as a portable tree. Again, it's not for whacking the animal with on the head. You can touch them with it and use a little pressure. You don't have to whack. If you walk up to a person and touch them on the tip of the nose, it doesn't hurt them, but that would be annoying as heck. So what are they gonna do? You're gonna pull your head away. So same thing with the crocodile. If it's walking towards me and I just gently touch them on the tip of the nose or rest this on their nose, that's an annoying thing. And they're gonna stop and pull back and be like, what the heck are you doing? Depending on their behavior at the time, that could escalate the situation. So you have to pay attention to why they're coming towards you. If it is more of a kind of aggressive, defensive or passive aggressive type of scenario, then, you know, they could pop up and grab the stick and try to run off with it or charge more. But ultimately what you can do is use this as a portable tree. Right there, bam. They can't walk through it. You know, they're gonna have to pick a side. So if it shoots up this side, I just walk around the tree. You know, so in all the enclosures, we have trees everywhere. You know, there's a lot of this stuff is just, you use it to your advantage. So the rocks, the dock, the trees, this portable tree, this stick, you know, I can use that to my advantage to stay safe in the event that something goes wrong and I have animals coming after me or somebody else. You know, if they pick a side, I go around it. You walk around a tree all day long. They're not the Incredible Hulk. They're not going to smash through a tree or a, you know, if this were made out of balsa wood, then we would have a problem. That's not going to work. A twig isn't going to work. But this is sturdy enough. You know, if they grab it and take it and run off, they're chewing on this. They're not chewing on this. So that's the point. Safety, for the sake of safety. I don't always need the stick. I just sometimes have it, especially if I'm doing something specific and I think I might have to move some animals around. Most of the time I don't have to do anything. Right at the beginning of this, you saw I just walked up and, you know, the crocodile got out of the way. They usually know why I'm in the enclosure. And there's always a reason, you know, whether it's to work, train, or feed. They know the difference between those scenarios. And they usually, if I'm just coming into work and scout things out and walk around, just the routine stuff, they usually don't bother me or us or whoever it is. Once they know, you know, if they don't know who the trainer is or the person, then they might act a little differently. But as far as me or anybody else that helps out here, they know who we are and what we're doing, and they give us the room to do it. So as long as we're not being annoying house guests, then they don't mind, you know. And if they do mind, they let us know, and then we just get out of the way. That's portable tree right there for safety. Like always, you leave an enclosure, always make sure you lock the enclosure. Ba-bam, all done. There you go.